Everybody, welcome back to another episode of FSI DFS Fantasy NFL Picks. I'm your Smegro 31. This will be a quick video compared to the other ones for week 8. I already recorded it. The file corrupted. I don't have time to do another full breakdown. I apologize for that. But maybe you like this format better, so let me know in the comments below. So start with quarterbacks. I'm going to try to get this video done in like 15 minutes. So we'll see if the short version you like better. So quarterback line. I think the top plays, if you're going to pay up, are going to be Lamar, Hurts, and Mahomes. Now, I think Lamar really came to life. As a Ravens fan, I was ready to get rid of him after the Pittsburgh game, but I think during the Detroit game, he came out and looked good. He's got another good matchup this week, and I think he definitely has a chance to shine again and put up yards through the air and through the ground against a weak Cardinals defense. Hurts has the running upside, even though he was a little bit hurt. No pun intended. He should be okay. He didn't have a designation on him at all for that. So he'll definitely is like the goal line back with the whole brotherly shove, tush push thing. And he and AJ Brown have just been locked in. So definitely some opportunities for them. And the Commanders have played them tough. So I think it's be a closer game than people think. It's a decent total at 43.5. My fourth favorite game on the slate. And I'd probably be pairing him with Brown there. Mahomes is in the equation again against a bad Denver D. I just fear that they get up by so much that they just kind of rest him at the end. And it's going to be raining there a little bit too in Denver. So I think it might be once they get ahead, they just run the ball. So he's in play there. Medium range, CJ Stroud. It's going to be the battle of rookie quarterbacks against a bad Carolina defense. I think he's got his two wide receivers there, and I think that they're just going to do a really good job. So like him, he's got some rushing upside. He's look really solid as a rookie quarterback. Lawrence, I think, is in play also. I know he had the knee issue. He still continued to run on the Monday night game here, coming off a short week. I think he'll be fine. Going to be a little bit of rain in Pittsburgh, but I think they'll be fine there. And Pittsburgh defense is not what they used to be. So I think you can definitely have a decent game. And then Tua has got a great matchup against New England. So his wide receiver is a little bit banged up, so that's why I have him on third on the list. And he doesn't have a ton of rushing upside, so that's why I have him there. In the cheap range, I think everybody thought Donald was going to play Sam over Purdy with the concussion protocol that came out of nowhere, but he cleared on Saturday. He is going to play. He's going to start in the limitations. Should be fine. So I think he's in play in cheap range. Derek Carr, if he's not overthrowing his wide receivers and yelling at them for not running 100 miles per hour to catch a ball that was uncatchable, I think he'll be okay too against this Detroit defense. I think Detroit will definitely bounce back. No, sorry, he's not on the Raiders anymore. What am I doing? Told you it's late at night and redoing this. So hard for the Saints against the Colts. I mean, the Colts let up so many points against a Cleveland team that was completely depleted last week. I think they'll definitely be in play. I think his shoulders getting better, so I think Olave, is a deep threat there, and Thomas and Kamara catching balls out of the backfield. He has Juwan Johnson back, his tight end. Taysom Hill's a little bit banged up, so he might not be taking away snaps from him. So I think Carr's definitely in play there. And I think people are going to figure about Joe Burrow after they blew their bye last week. So a chance for him to come out and have a decent game, even though it's against San Francisco and they've got a really good defense. They should probably be behind, so they should be throwing the ball. And if they want to be playoff contenders, these are types of games that they need to go out there and do well in. So he's in play. Fading Dobbs for Arizona. Kyle Murray's not going to be back yet. Not touching the Tennessee guys. There's going to be a rotation, which is because Tannehill's out. And then Howell just against the Philly D, not interested. Watson's out, so you got the rookie starting for Cleveland, not interested in them. And Jones is out also, so Tyrod Taylor's going to be in there. Maybe, I can't list everybody here, but so those are the guys I'm looking at in the different range to the top 9 that I have up there on the board. Let's see if there's a 10th that I would throw out there. Anybody else that I mean, Gardner Minshew had an amazing like ceiling game, but I just don't see him getting back there again. It's going to be a complete downpour in New York for the Battle of that. So even though Zach Wilson has showed some progress, I don't really like the weather for that. And the total game's like 35.5, which is horrible. Bryce Young, I don't trust. Maybe Kirk Cousins against Green Bay. I think that he's probably in play, like better indoors than outdoors. But I think if you're looking for or Dak Prescott, that's an indoor game. Matt Stafford, probably one of those two in the Dallas Rams game because that's my favorite game. So they didn't make the board, but Stafford and Prescott are definitely in play in the mid to cheap range. 6-1 for Stafford and 6-1 or 6-6 for Stafford and 6-1 for Prescott. Running backs, obviously CMC is back. He's fine if you can pay up to him. If not, Pollard should be a great play against the Rams defense. Rested coming off a bye week. Kamara, he just continues to catch balls and run and just accumulate points on both FanDuel and DK. So like him, and ETN has been solid also. We thought early on in the season, I was a little bit fearful that Bigsby was going to take away from him, but he's just been solid, running, catching the ball, everything. So definitely solid play there. Pacheco, I love in the middle range. Again, I think this KC team's going to be a blowout with the weather. I think he's going to run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. Really haven't seen much of McKinnon recently. So, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So I think it's Pacheco's backfield. And I think that he definitely will get some runs. Love pairing him with this KC defense if you can pay up for them. Taylor, and I didn't put Taylor Swift here just to be funny. That's just the way the rankings fell. And she's not going to be at the game because she's back on tour anyway. So that answers that question. But with Moss banged up, I think Taylor's definitely play against the Saints defense. They seem to cover more pass than the run. Swift for the Eagles has been solid. We've seen a little bit of Gainwell, but not a ton. And Washington, you definitely can run on. He's definitely has a solid role there. And then Kenneth Walker, I think Seattle's, even though it's a 3.5 spread, I just think with Ford being questionable and not necessarily going to be playing, even though it looked like he said he ran well in practice, I think Cleveland's just so banged up that Seattle might get ahead, and then Walker just gets handed off the ball and they just run the clock out with him. So I think he's a great play also. Cheap range, I think Hall with this game where it's just going to be a mess, like to throw the ball. I think he's definitely healed, and I think he can definitely put up a good deal of points. So love him in the cheap range. Edwards for Baltimore. If you obviously, Lamar is the goal line back, but they should have a huge lead on Cardinals, and Lamar's not going to be running the ball to run out the clock. It's going to be Edwards. So that's why I like him. Pierce has a great matchup for Houston against Carolina, who can't really stop anybody on the ground. And again, I think they're going to get up, and he's a good chance to just get the ball and to run out the clock. And then I think Mixon and Hunt are potentially in the equation. I'm fading B-Rob, even though his price has gone way down. Tennessee is such a good run defense. They're a pass funnel. They want you to pass the ball. So, I mean, that kind of helps, like maybe Ritter and London, but I just think this is going to be a low scoring, disgusting game. And Henry on the other side, I just can't. Falcons have a decent run defense too, and I just think this offense is going absolutely nowhere. It's going to be an ugly, ugly, ugly game, I believe. Williams in Denver, I just think they're going to be so far down that he's really not going to factor. He's been looking better recently, but even though they seems like they are turning into like a run first offense, which makes no sense whatsoever. That's not going to help you beat the Kansas City Chiefs. So the game script doesn't work for him. Pittsburgh's guys are still a nightmare on who's going to be there. And then Stevenson's from New England. Miami's been decent against the run. I think they'll be up. They're just going to have to pass the ball. And I just don't think he's going to factor in as much as we want. Wide receiver wise, injuries. Mostert, we have to check on that. Wilson Jr. could be the smash play of the slate in the cheap range. Potentially, if he is out, And then Moss, just helps Taylor, and Ford just helps Hunt. No other really running backs that are out there. So injury watch for wide receiver. Hill is back. He said he's 100. He's good. I don't know if he's 100%, so I'll have to keep an eye on that. So great to pay up for him. He just wants to get 2,000 yards, just trying to get a lot of volume there. Cup, I think people will be off him after a disappointing week last week, but this is a good matchup. Even the Dallas D is pretty good. I think he'll definitely have a bounce back game. AJ Brown's just been so solid. If you're playing Hurts, definitely pair him up with there. Chase, again, I think he's going to be kind of forgotten, and he's just been like a target monster from Burrow in the Cincinnati game. Again, I think they're behind. It's a good way to try to get out there and to try to catch up. Just keep on throwing the ball to Chase, because Mixon just has been not as effective recently in the run game. And then Nakua has just been solid and is kind of matchup proof also. The 6K, I think Lamb, if definitely it's going to be a shootout with that one. It's not a super high total in the 50s, only 45.5, but I think there's some upside there. Thielen has just been solid. His price is starting to catch up a little bit, but I really like the Houston Carolina game. It's my second favorite one, 43.5 total, and he'd be my run back with Stroud and Collins and Dell. Ayuk, I think, without Samuel in play is definitely going to take advantage there, and Olave for New Orleans should be able to exploit the Colts defense. Flowers probably one of the best point per dollar plays. Like, he's definitely become the number one wide receiver. Looked great with Lamar last week, and even takes some catches away from Andrews, so he's in play there. Pickens, I like, even with Deontay Johnson back. It seems that he's the deep threat here, and the Jaguars have given up so many big plays that he's the one that should benefit for that. So I'm going to have a good share of him in GPPs. Addison looked amazing, took that ball away from the defender on Monday Night Football, scored a touchdown. So he's definitely play there. And then I think Kirk with Zay Jones out again. It just, the Jacksonville, it's like Ridley's a deep threat, and they just haven't been throwing the ball deep. They've been throwing it more underneath, and Kirk has definitely been benefiting from that. And then I said I love Collins to pair with Stroud. Dell, the cheap one, 4,900. Definitely love him also. If you can't get up to Collins, Dell's a nice savings there on both sites. Bourne, a little risky, but I think if New England's going to make a run, he looked good last week. So, if he's going to be the one catching some balls, even if everybody's back from New England, I just think that spreads out the coverage more, and I think he still does fine. Mingo is a really good wide receiver that is just going to have a breakout game sooner or later. And if people start covering like Thielen, he's the one that could get open, and he's only 3-4, so it doesn't need to do much really to make value. And then Downs is pretty solid for Indianapolis. So Hill and Waddle, I don't have Waddle on the sheet just because I think he's a GPP play. Wouldn't play him in cash, and he just has the back, just kind of scares me. Lockett's a little banged up, so if he doesn't get to play, then definitely Jackson Smith, the Jigba, is going to be someone that you can throw in your cash lines at only 4.3 is a great value there. So keep him in mind. Malcolm Thomas is ill, so that could help Olave if he's out. Also, is it Shakir, who's the number 3 guy? Does Shaheed, he runs back kicks, super fast guy. So potentially play there. Samuel is banged up for Washington, so another play that I don't have on the board that I like an awful lot too, especially if you're playing this game, is McLaurin as a run back for if you're playing Philadelphia Eagles. And then Woods and Zay Jones are out. Doesn't really, I talked about Jones. Woods really doesn't factor a ton. He's been out for a while. So tight end, obviously you can pay up for Kelsey. I don't think I'm doing it this week. I think just with the blowout, I can get a lot of I want to prioritize other positions. Andrews, I do like. I'm going to play him a lot in cash with Lamar, and Hawkinson's right there also. Middle range, Kittle, he's actually benefited a little bit better than Ayuk sometimes when Samuel's been out, so like him. Goddard, I'm a little bit hesitant on, even if I'm playing Hurts, just because teams with good pass rushes, he's like there like as a nice safety valve, and they've run some screenplays for him too, so that helps with like his catches. But I don't think that they're going to see much of a pass rush from Washington, so he might not be utilized as much in this game. Ingram's been solid in the offense for the Jaguars, so he's definitely in that range. Cheap range, Schultz is definitely in play. Going with the Houston stack there, like him. Ferguson for the Cowboys is in play. He's done well, and he's relatively cheap too. And then Waller, if he is healthy and out there, looks like he's got good chemistry with Tyrod Taylor. Cheap ones, McBride. Ertz is out on IR now, so even though Dobbs has a limp arm and really can't throw the ball that far, McBride is the one that does kind of benefit from it. So I like him there. Haywood for Pittsburgh's in play also. If Fryermuth's still on the IL, and Logan Thomas, if he could stay healthy, is a great play for Washington. And Musgrave, like I said, is banged up for Green Bay. Wouldn't take his backup. Ertz and Granson's out for Indianapolis. I'm not really too keen on Ogletree. Uh, they're more Mo Alley Cox. They're all like more blocking tight ends. I don't think. I mean, 2.5. If the guy, whoever's going to start there, potentially, if it's like minimum price, if they catch a couple balls, I mean, definitely can make value in a GPP if you need a deep punt. But I'm probably not going there. And like I said, the Green Bay backup, I'm not super excited about either. The Green Bay offense didn't look great last week in the smash spot, and it's Tucker Kraft, or I really not going with Green Bay. So defenses, Atlanta and Seattle are my favorites. Atlanta against a Cleveland team that's got a lot of Atlanta against a Tennessee team with two quarterbacks rotating, and in a sloppy game should be good. Seattle also is in a great spot to shut down a Cleveland team that's outmanned and has some injuries. Baltimore should be able to do well in their matchup. Their defense looked great last week, holding a hot Detroit team down, and hopefully they're starting to get healthy and be able to stop this Cardinal team that doesn't really have too much bite to it. And Kansas City should dominate if Denver, if you want to pay up. Cincinnati and Minnesota are definitely playing their matchups, in Jacksonville and Indy also. I'd avoid Denver and New England. So game stacks that I like, Dallas and the Rams are the highest total on the slate, I believe, at 45.5. That's not like a huge spread. So, I mean, there are some team games that have like higher totals, but like the Chiefs, but they're favored by like 7, and I just don't want to go like a lopsided blowout. I'd rather have a close game and hope that it kind of stays close and shoots out. So this 45.5, I know Dallas is favored by 6.5, but I think the Rams will play the game a lot closer. So give me Stafford. You can put Dak there also, Cupner, Nakua, and then running it back with Pollard. Houston, Carolina, because I love that game too. Stroud, Collins, Dell. One of those two, run it back with Thielen. Carr, Camara, Olave, if you want to throw it in there and double stack it, run it back with Pittman or down. Philly and Washington, I think it's going to be closer than you think it is. They've always played their division, and Washington's the one when Philly was completely undefeated last year on that run that stopped them at home. So I think Hurts and Brown are the ones, and then run it back with McLaurin. If you want to throw in like Swift, I'm fine with that too. And then Jacksonville, Pittsburgh, Lawrence, Kirk, and Pickens are where I'm going. So look at some builds and get you on your way for your Sunday. So for cash and DK, give me Jackson, give me Hall. I'm going to play running back 2, probably looking at Kamara, Pollard, trying to get one of those in. I can't necessarily get up to CMC. So I like Dell and Flowers as my receivers. I'm going to stay kind of in that 5 to 6K, sub 6K range. I think I'm going with a more balanced lineup. Going to pay up for tight end Andrews or Hawkinson in the Falcons defense. For FanDuel, same thing, but Hall and Pierce are the ones that I really like there. Flowers, Andrews or McBride to run back with. If you want to double stack with Lamar and do no run back, I'm fine with that. Or if you do want to run back, I think McBride's one, or you can play him in flex. He's super cheap, and then helps you pay up a little bit more for your two wide receivers that are open. GPP, Stroud or Purdy, Pacheco or CMC, depending on if you want to go with the Kansas City or Minnesota defense. Pacheco and Casey is a nice pairing there. CMC in Minnesota is much more expensive still. I mean, they're not equal, but you'll just have to make some choices there. So I'm going Collins with the Stroud lineup, but I'm going Kittle if I have the Purdy lineup. So I'm not going to play those two in the flex. I just put them in the flex so you see where the option is. But it's either wide receiver or tight end to pair with my quarterback. And then Pierce and Thielen are where I'm going for the other pieces in that core. And pretty much the same thing, but Kamara and Prosecco. If you want to go down to Pollard, that gives you a little bit more salary for FanDuel. Thielen, Dell or Kittle there, same thing, pair with the quarterback, and then Kansas City defense, or if you want to drop down to Minnesota there too, that also works. So I got for you. If you have any questions, put them in the chat below. Hit me up at MegaRow31 on X, or formerly known as Twitter. If you want more information on FSI DFS to get our finalized cores and like all the cores for everything else we do for NFL, packages are really cheap. You can go to the description of the video, and there's a link to our website to sign up for them. And if these videos help you, please help us back. Like, subscribe to our channel, and share with your friends. So thanks for watching. Should have a Monday Night Football video for tomorrow night and Monday, depending on wherever you watch this, and Thursday Night Football. So just check out our channel. Lots of good things. Got NASCAR coverage. McKinley does hockey Monday through Friday, and maybe we'll even kick off some NBA once and NASCAR is over. So thanks for watching. Good luck in your contest. Hope you have an amazing weekend. I'll see you next time.